Good morning to you. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. And I know it's not Friday, right? We're used to being here on Friday. We're used to being here on Friday mornings. Good morning. My name is Nina Moore, and welcome to the Buy Back the Block Mindset Matters call, where Jordan Ferrarini realizes that mindset matters. And if you know that mindset matters, drop mindset matters in the comments. And as you're logging on, let me know what city. Let me open up this chat so we can talk a little bit before we get started. What city, what country, what state might you be logging in from? And listen, before we get started, this is the time right now where you want to take that link and not be a gatekeeper and send this out. Send it out to 10 people in your phone. Let people know that we're here. So Dominique, I'm actually from Philadelphia. I see Flint, Michigan, Medina, Ohio. Good morning, Chicago, Indiana. What we got? Let me see. We got Canada on the line. The Detroit. Good morning. So good morning, Tara. Good morning, Danielle, Dominique, Heidi, Kizzy, Sid. Good morning, sir. How are you? I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. All right. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning to you all. Good morning, Rochelle. That's actually my middle name. Good morning to you all. I'm looking at my screen. Good morning, Dr. Bramwell. We've got all the superstars up with us today. Karen, good morning. Janet Evans, good morning. Lakeisha, good morning. You're making me feel like I want to be on a tropical island somewhere, right? Good morning to you all. Good morning, good morning, good morning. So it's so good. Robin Owens, good morning. So glad to be here with you all today. I woke up this morning with a attitude of gratitude. I don't know about you all. So I was looking on Facebook last night and I saw that a friend of mine that I actually grew up with, really young, it's actually younger than me, passed away. And it really made me think about the things in life that really matter, you know, and how we waste so much time, Jeanette, on things that don't matter. We waste time, even just in our thought process, wasting our time on things that don't matter. Could you imagine if because guess what? When I thought about it last night before I was going to sleep, I said, you know, there's someone that didn't wake up. And imagine, we don't know the day nor the hour, right? When it's our time, when the trumpet plays for us, when it's our last day. So I really want everyone, as we open up today, we're going to talk about consistency. I trained on consistency when I was in Houston last week, and it was a powerful training. And so I wanted to give you all a foundation of consistency, but I just want, Lakeisha, every one of us to take a moment to really reflect today on what really matters and what's important and what do we want. You know, what I always think about is living full and dying empty. Living full and dying empty. But what do we want people to know about us? Like, what do we want our living legacy to say? Because when people think about you, what do you want people to think about? Do you want people to think about you and they think like, oh, that's the person that's always late, or that's the person that's always negative, or that's the person that's always pessimistic, that's the person that's always, you know what I mean? Like, y'all ever been around a person where every time you go to tell them something, they come back with the, well, what if it doesn't? Well, what if it, y'all know those kind of people, right? I run from those kind of people. I promise you all, right? And so I want you to think about now, what kind of person do people say you are? Who do men say I am? Right. And like I said, so let's go ahead and share with everyone. I'm going to send a shout out and let everybody know that we are on the line, that we're on the Zoom. 1 second. I'm going to send a shout out as well to let everybody know that we are on the Zoom. Y'all let people know that this is the place to be, because they think we're here normally on Thursdays, right? Let me see. I'm going to send it out. One more blast. I'm going to send out one more blast because this is a training that everybody needs. So again, thank you to Mr. Jordan Ferrarini. Y'all say thank you to Jordan, and make sure, you know what, if we can get support to drop. Good morning, Diamond, Washington, D.C. Oh my goodness, right? Listen, let's drop Jordan's Instagram and my Instagram in the chat so that because Jordan knows how important mindset is and has provided this platform for us, right? So let's go ahead, send out that link. We're going to get started in just a second. Listen, grab your notebook and a pen. I promise that you're only going to remember about 20% of the information that you hear today. So it's very, very important that you grab a notebook and a pen because you won't remember what I said. All right. Now, if you can, turn your camera on unless you're in the restroom, because if you're in the restroom, we can see you. All right. But if you're not, turn your camera on so that we're able to see your beautiful smiling faces so that you can share your energy and joy. If you're at work, we 100% understand. All right. So listen, consistency. I want you to write this down. Kizzy, if you're driving, that's right. Just listen. Don't look at the screen. Just listen. Consistency. I want you to talk about here today is the discipline that decides your destiny. So if you are able to write, thank you so much. Consistency is the discipline that decides your destiny. Consistency. What is it? The discipline that decides your destiny. So there is a version of you that already has the results you've been praying for. The only difference between you and that person, you and her or you and him, is what you do consistently. And this is the thing. People always focus on all of the things we do consistently and they're looking at the good stuff, right? But what about all the things we do consistently that are not so good? Because all of those things are creating habits for us. We're creating habits, whether we're doing the good stuff or whether we're doing the things that we know we shouldn't do. And we know when we're doing it that we shouldn't be doing it. We know we say things like, I don't know why I always end up. I don't know why we say those things. So we don't fail because we don't know what to do. We fail because we don't do what we know long enough to see it work. I'm going to say it again. We don't fail because we don't know what to do. We fail because we don't do what we know long enough to see it work. Y'all got it? We don't fail because we don't know what to do. We fail because we don't do what we know long enough to see it works. So that's like the person, imagine this. I told y'all a little bit of my story. I used to be 300 pounds. And a lot of times what happens, Sid, is that people, they get on a weight loss journey and they lose 5 or 10 pounds and then they celebrate. That is not the time to celebrate. That's too soon to celebrate. And because they celebrate, they haven't gone long enough to create a new habit. So they don't fail because they didn't know what to do. They fail because they don't do what we know long enough to see it work. So what happens is they gain it back, but they gain double back, triple back what they lost because they didn't do it long enough to create a new habit, long enough to become a new person, long enough to shift the identity. Because it's our identity. Our identity allows us to do whatever it is that we're doing is all based upon how we see ourselves, who we see ourselves as. So I want to remind everybody, this is not a motivational call. And I know you're going to say, well, no, mindset and motivation are two different things. This is not a motivational call. This is transformation. Because this is a decision moment. And I want you to brace yourselves because transformation, see, motivation, let me tell you, motivation doesn't challenge us. Motivation doesn't cut, Albert. It doesn't cut us. Motivation, it all feels good. And that is why people are like, they're motivation junkies. They go from this to this to this to this. Whomever can motivate me the best, from this to this to this to this. But think about it. When a person goes to a trainer in the gym, Mary, the trainer is their job is to do what? To make sure when you leave the gym, you're hurting more than when you walked in the door. Why is that, Lakeisha? Because that trainer has to do what? Has to push you beyond where you would take yourself. Good morning, Bernice. And so I want everybody to this is a decision moment. I want everybody to be honest. How many of you have started something strong and haven't finished it yet? It's okay. This is not a judgment. This is not judgment. This is the no judgment zone. We have to look ourselves in that proverbial mirror so that we can say, you know what? Me. And I'm going to tell you, we often quit as soon as it starts to feel uncomfortable. And then what we do, here's what we do, Shantae. We start looking to see who we could blame externally outside of us. Oh, well, it was because it rained. Oh, well, it was because I ain't like the way she said such and such and such. Well, it was because I ain't like they post. I know they was talking about me. And here's the thing. If we don't shift our identity, guess what? We'll continue to stay on that hamster wheel that goes round and around and around and around. And around and around and around and around. Yours is trying to make it perfect. And Lakeisha, I'm going to talk about perfectionism today. All right, roll. It's okay. We just going to say ouch and amen. So here's the thing. Consistency is identity. It's not effort. Y'all write that down if you're taking notes. Consistency is identity. It's not effort. Because here's the deal. If it was effort, everybody would be wealthy. Everybody would be on the other. Everybody's businesses would be flourishing. If it was effort, see, remember I talked about that whole working hard thing. We fail when we're trapped in the wrong frame. And I said, if we believe we got to work hard to make money, we're never going to make money unless we're working hard. Remember that? Anybody remember that? And so if consistency was effort, everybody would be successful. This wouldn't even be a thought. Everybody would be successful. But most people are trying to be consistent they're trying to be consistent without becoming consistent. Uh-oh. I know. They're trying to be consistent without becoming consistent. Some of y'all gonna catch that. So then they try, Sid, when it's convenient. When it feels good, that's when I can be consistent. And most people stop as soon as it's uncomfortable. But you know what? The trainers will tell you that's exactly when you start to build muscle. In order for us to have another level of success, listen, this is to all my people that have seen success already, to whatever capacity. Here's what happens. Here's when we get stuck. Successful people is even harder for us that are successful. Because what happens is we have to create another goal. We have to start using other muscles. We have to learn new skill sets. And I was talking to my mom Tuesday. I was talking to my mom on Tuesday and I said to her, you know, this space that I'm in my life right now, and as I was sharing with her, I said, there are moments that I'm feeling like pressure. Not anxiety or anything like that. I said, but I know that in order for me to move past where I'm at, it requires another level of skill set. And here's what happens, Bernice, when you're already successful and you're saying, well, I mean, I've got all these skill sets already. But it requires a new language, a new way of thinking, an elevated way of thinking, an elevated way of doing things, how I did things before. Now, in this season, I've got to do more. Type more in the comments. Type more in the comments. Because even when a person says the word trying, well, I'm a try. You know, I'm a network marketer, and all of y'all know. And so when people join, it's funny, and I know everybody talking about the thing they seeing all over the internet right now. Y'all got to stop it. It's not criminal, okay? It's wording, it's verbiage, what she said out her mouth, that's all right? So the industry still works. I mean, there's a whole lot of people that get real estate licenses and never sell a house too, okay? So here's the thing, but the word trying, and that's temporary. And I already know, Bernice, when somebody says, when they join the team, and you know what they say, Bernice? I'm a try. I'm a try. I already know. I already know when a person comes in saying, well, you know, I mean, I'll try. No, that means, here's what it means. Y'all ready for this? When a person comes in saying, I'll try, that means I'm going to try until it doesn't feel good. I'm going to try until somebody tells me no. I'm going to try until my spouse, you know, they don't really understand what I'm doing, why I'm so passionate about this thing. I'm going to try until somebody on my team quits. I'm going to try until I can't get a zoning permit. I'm going to try until my funding falls through. I'm going to try until somebody else beats me out on that deal. Y'all know what I'm saying? But here's the deal. That's why I said today is decision day. Because when you decide, it's permanent. We don't rise to our goals. We fall to our identity. Y'all write identity in the chat. Let me ask you a question. Who do you believe you are when nobody is clapping? Uh-oh. Who do you believe you are when no one's clapping? Can you still show up when no one's calling your name? Can you still show up when no one's recognizing you? Can you still show up? You know, success is a really, you know, success is can be a very lonely place. Because you do understand that there are not a lot of people who think like you. Because there's a lot of people that'll say, especially if you've had some level of success, here's what they'll say. Well, I don't understand, you already doing well. Oh, come on. How many people say it to you? I mean, I don't understand why you want to buy another property. I don't understand why you want to start another business. I mean, you're already comfortable. So here's the thing. If someone says, I'm trying to work out, we already know that they inconsistent. Versus, I'm someone who trains my body. Things like that. We know that person is going to be what? Consistent. So here's what we got to understand. Identity removes the negotiation. Y'all write that down if you're taking notes. Identity removes negotiation. And when your identity is clear, guess what happens? Our behavior follows instructions. When your identity is clear, your behavior follows instructions. You know, it's amazing, Bernice, and I know Jordan deals with this in his industry too. You know, when people, when you go to ask them questions and they'll say, the first thing they say is, I've been busy. As if successful people are not busy. Like it's amazing to me the level of excuses we make, even though we say we want more. Well, I was busy. All of us are busy. Everyone is busy. But when your identity is clear, when you know who you are, whose you are, why you here, who you serve, when your why is clear, what you want, when the goal is clear, when it's evident, what happens is our behavior follows the instruction. So I want everybody to say it. I want everybody to say it out loud today. I don't try, I decide. We got to kill that try word. Well, I'm going to try. No, we're not going to try. We're going to do. I don't try. I decide. I decide. I am consistent. I don't try, I decide. Come on, write it down, write it down. I don't try, I decide. Say it out loud. I don't try, I decide. Yes, there's another level. And I'm going to tell you, for someone like me that really operates at a very high level, this is a conversation I was having with my mom the other day. I was like, Mom, when you already operate at a really high level, figuring out how to go higher is a chore. Like, how do I go higher than where I already am? That, you know what it is? It's not about doing more. It's about becoming more. Y'all write that down. See, that's why the stress happens. Because we think it's doing more. Latasha, Teresa, we think it's doing more. It's not doing more. It's becoming more. Who am I becoming? What version of myself? It's about becoming more. Elevating the way I think. So the strongest force in our lives, it's not just our goals. It's the identity that we agree with. Who do men, think about what the Bible says. Who do men say I am? Who do people say you are? The one thing that, it's funny, we're doing this little flash mob thing today. And I'm working with a friend of ours to help plan it, so to speak, right? And Paul came in and said, how did you end up being the go-to person with this thing? And I was like, I don't really know. I don't really know, Nicole. I said, I don't know. All I did, we were in a chat and I mentioned I knew the owner and I mentioned how great the food was at her restaurant. And I mentioned, just some things. And then the next thing I know, my phone was ringing. And now, exactly, Tedra. You know why I'm the go-to person now? Because every time, Bernice, they know I'm going to get it done. People know. So who do men say you are? See, what people know about me is if they give me a task, they know Nina going to get it done. It's what I'm known for. I'm never going to say I'm going to do something and then not do it. And people know that about me. They know it about me. What do men say? Who do men say you are? So we said point number 1 was the discipline that decides your destiny. That was point number 1. Now point number 2, consistency compounds. All right? Consistency compounds. Write that down. If you're taking notes, write it down. Consistency compounds. People quit because they don't see results fast enough. They join an organization, they go to the gym, whatever the case may be, they quit because they don't see results fast enough. But here's the deal. Consistency is a compound effect. It's a compound effect. It's like planting seeds. Nothing shows until everything shows. I don't know about you all, but I plant. I plant every year. And for a month or so, oftentimes, Kawana, you don't see anything. Nothing sprouts. And then you're wondering, did I get some bad seeds? Nothing's showing. Nothing's sprouting. Nothing's happening. Darn, am I watering it enough? Nothing's happening. But what I was sharing with everybody, Sid, last week is this. I was watching a farmer, and I was watching this gentleman, and he was talking about the soil that you plant your seeds in. And he said, we think we could just plant our seeds in any dirt. But we don't understand that there are things that we've got to do to the soil to make sure that the seeds can breathe. He said, if not, you can plant these seeds, Albert. And here, Albert, I didn't know some of my seeds I planted too deep. Because when you plant them too deep, it's more difficult for them to sprout through the soil. Then he said, Lakeisha, let me tell you, it was so fascinating. The revelation you get from this, right? Then he said, well, if you plant them in a soil, that the soil is not the right fertilizer for the seeds, it'll never grow. Because if the soil can't breathe, fungus and bacteria set in to the soil and it kills the seeds. Y'all, come on. Wait a minute. Here, y'all, this is lighting my fire. But Sid, here we go. Not only do you have the good soil, right? Mr. Albert, I planted some things in just planters. Because, you know, that's what I saw some planters. I said, oh, I'm just going to grab these planters, Mary. He said, if you're planting food you got to start them if you're not growing in the ground. You got to start them in buckets that are made to grow food in. Because if you don't, what you grow your plants in will contaminate the food you're growing. I said, well, I'll be jumped up. So the environment matters. But, you know, we're planting and we're mad. We're mad because nothing's showing. Nothing's growing. But here's what was happening, Mr. Albert. It was all taking place under the soil. Mary, it was all happening under the soil. Day 1 through 10, nothing's visible. Then come day 11, 12, 14, 20, 30. Breakthrough begins. I want you all to write this down. Results are delayed, not denied. Ow! Results are delayed. They're not denied. Results are delayed, not denied. And they're delayed even the more if we didn't do all the proper measures. They're delayed even more when we don't. So think about it. A person that goes to the gym, they go once, nothing's happening. They start going consistently, transformation happens. So you know what was happening, Sid? Sid, I was still out there watering every day, even though I didn't see anything happening. And guess what, y'all? I was on a business trip last week. And I came home and I went outside to go look at my plants. And all of a sudden, Mr. Albert, the string beans are looking like, whoa. And all of a sudden, my cucumbers are starting to break through. And all of a sudden, flowers that are perennials, they're starting to bloom outside. And it's not looking like death anymore. Because even when I didn't see growth happening, I kept watering. I kept fertilizing. I kept planting. I kept nurturing. I kept cultivating. Small actions repeated equals massive results. There's seed time and there's harvest time. We can't always live in harvest. And then we got to stop expecting a result from a seed we didn't plant. We cannot expect a harvest from seeds we didn't plant. What we repeat, we reinforce. And what we reinforce, we become. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. What we repeat, we reinforce. And what we reinforce, we become. We got to let that one land. So you got to ask yourself, what have you been quitting too early? So in my line of business, y'all, I want you to write it down, right? In my line of business, I watch people think they're working. They think they are. And then they're frustrated because nothing happens and, you know, and then all of a sudden, they start getting into action. And then they start seeing customers coming. Then they start seeing other business partners coming. And I mean, it's the same. Here's the thing. We could either watch from the sideline or we could get in the game. Inconsistency resets the clock. Inconsistency keeps taking you back to the start. Resets the clock. Every time you stop, you start over. Every time you stop, you start over. You're not stuck. The problem is you keep restarting. Now think about it. As I was thinking about them seeds, and I learned, let me tell y'all, God gives me so much revelation when I'm out on my deck with my plants. And I started thinking about what seeds are contaminated. Lakeisha, I said, what seeds are contaminated? Some of you, you're around a bunch of fungus. Some of you are connected to a bunch of bacteria. And they have contaminated you. I keep telling you, you cannot tell your big dream to a small-minded person. Because consistency is expensive. But inconsistency will cost you your future. It will cost you your future. So here's the deal. Consistency, point 3. Consistency requires systems, not willpower. See, let's be honest. Do you really think that people who operate at a very, very high level, you think that they feel like it every day? Like, do you really think people feel like looking for properties, feel like going to the auctions, feel like writing the deals, they feel like it, like every day? You think that they feel like doing it? No, that's the problem. There are inspections, you feel like it. No, right? There you go. Inspection with L&I at 12 noon. You don't feel like it. You don't feel like that. That's the problem. We think we're going to do it because we feel like it. That's why I said in the beginning, consistency is a decision. You either decided to win or you decided, nah, I'm going to play with this a little bit. But you haven't gone all in because you haven't decided, but you want everybody else that you're connected to be decided. How's that working out for you? Consistency requires systems, not willpower, because willpower is unreliable. You know, strong on Monday, but missing by Thursday. Tell the truth. Most people can't even go 30 days. So you don't need willpower. You need systems. And you know what I love to teach? Put pressure on the system. If you put pressure on the system, guess what? Put pressure on the system. I dare people to put pressure on the system and then tell me in 30, 60, 90 days that something ain't working. Because you'd be lying. If you have to decide every day, you will lose. So you make that decision to cross the line from trying to decide it. Because here's what systems look like. Same time, same action, scheduled activities. That's what systems look like. Trainings, non-negotiables. I have some non-negotiables. Non-negotiables. And here's the real talk. Some of you don't have a discipline problem. You have a structure problem. I was talking to my mom and Kay. I was talking to Kawana. Kawana's on here. And I was talking to my mom the other day and she started talking about balance. It's a word that I keep hearing a lot of people use here recently. And my mom was saying, you know, I'm just trying to balance it all because my mom is taking care of my grandmother. And you know, she took a turn in her health and my mom's taking care of her. She doesn't want her alone. And she said, but I'm trying to balance it all. And I said, Mom, I got to free you up. And I want to free everybody up that's on here right now. Matter of fact, let me see how many of you feel like, oh my God, I just can't balance. It's just, I need balance. I got to figure out how to balance it all out. Let me see. This is not a trick question. I'm not here to bash nobody. I'm about to free you. I'm about to help you. So we got 3, 4, 5, okay, 6, 7, 8, okay, 9, 10, 11, 12, okay. All right, 13. We got a lot of people that think balance is an issue. I'm getting ready to free y'all up. So we're gonna keep having balance as a problem when we keep saying balance is my problem. Here it is. Here it is right here. I'm about to bless y'all. You ready? You don't balance, you prioritize. You don't balance. Balance is BS. But there are things that are priority. So as long as I know on my list that I am prioritizing the things that are non-negotiables, what I don't get done at the end of the day wasn't a priority. It's not a balance problem. It's a priority problem. You haven't prioritized the things that are lacking. And I promise you, there are things that are wasting our time. There are things. So working out, schedule it. I am convicting myself of that. I have not been working. I used to get up every morning, same time, and then we started homeschooling our daughter and everything in my schedule changed. But I told myself, I can't wait till this trip is over. I got to move my mama here next week. And I'm getting back to action because I don't like the way I feel. Business building, scheduled. Posting content, scheduled. Trainings, scheduled. Just like we schedule. You know why? We schedule everything else in our lives. Schedule. What's scheduled gets done, and what's optional gets delayed. Prioritize. What's scheduled gets done. What's optional gets delayed. And if you think that I gotta balance all of this, there's a lot of things that get delayed. So what in your life right now is still optional that should be a non-negotiable? Because I told you earlier, you don't need to be more motivated. We need to be more organized. We need to be more prioritized. So I'm going to talk about why people are not consistent. All right? You ready? Why people are not consistent. Exercise. All of us need to exercise. Exercise is not even, at this point, it's not about weight loss. It's about how I feel. It's about keeping my heart pumping. Y'all understand what I'm saying? It's about how as I'm getting older now, I want to make sure that I have longevity. It's about keeping my muscles strong. Keeping my heart strong. Keeping my breathing strong. My thinking clear. Exercise. So let's run through these. Why are people not consistent? Number one, ding, 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 no identity. Come on, Dana, okay, we're going to celebrate you. We're going to celebrate you. He's showing us all out. Showing us all out. You ran 5 miles on the Peloton today. Show off. Look, we celebrating you, no, for real. That's fantastic. No identity. Listen, let me tell you why else people are not consistent. You ready? They are addicted to motivation. Oh my goodness. Addicted to motivation. So if somebody's not calling their name out and all of that, addicted to motivation. Then they won't, because fear. Number 3, fear. And here's the thing, when it comes to fear, a lot of people think that they're afraid of failure. I will tell you this. More people, Tedra, are afraid of success than failure. See, let me tell you why, Cherie. Success requires a higher level from people. And so people are more afraid of what it requires to be successful than they are of failing. Why are people inconsistent? They're emotionally unstable, right? Emotional instability. Why are people inconsistent? Mr. Cedric, because they don't get immediate results. You know, they tried to buy the first property and they ain't go through. So, oh, well, I knew this was a scam. That's what they say. I knew this was a scam. I knew that this was a scam. Well, I don't know, because I know more people that are successful or have been successful as well. It come from real estate. So I don't know why anybody would think that. All right. But when they get no immediate results, and then why are people inconsistent? Distractions. Why are people inconsistent? It has not become a must. It's not a must. And here's the thing. You got to understand that somebody's got to break the generational curse off the family. And somebody's got to say, I'm going to be the curse breaker. We don't have, many of us, Cherie, don't have examples of what that looks like because we don't come from money. We don't come from that. So if we don't come from money, then money got to come from us. So what happens with inconsistency, Kawana, is inconsistency is not random. Inconsistency is revealing. It is revealing. Inconsistency reveals things about people. It will reveal a decision that they've made without them telling you what they've made, what the decision was. So which one of these just exposed you? Which one of those distractions or reasons why people are not consistent, which one of them exposed you? That moment right there, that's conviction. And that's where change starts. That's where change starts. It starts when you say, okay, this is me. I got to fix this. This is what I have to fix. Because consistency is not about being perfect. That's why people feel like they don't get moving because they think they got to be perfect. It's about being decided. You know, I remember a year ago when I started a new business. And a year ago when we started, I had no clue. I had never done this. I've always been a weight loss, a health and wellness girl, but on the like product side where you had to consume and I had to learn a bunch of ingredients and things like that. I was just ignorance on fire. You know what I found? That being ignorance on fire and you just run, you just run. The knowledge of what you're doing catches up. I didn't know the pay structure. I didn't know any of those things. I didn't allow that I figured at some point that the money would come and I would figure it out. Because here's the thing, Mr. Cedric, I can't say I really want to help people and then think that I got to figure out all of the stuff before. No, let me just go help the people and then the money will come. And now money chases me. Consistency is not about being perfect. It's about the fact that I decided. I made a decision a year ago that, I may not really understand. I don't really understand all of this. I don't understand this. I don't understand the comp plan. I don't understand all these things. But I do understand that I want to help people. So the version of you that wins, that person doesn't negotiate with distractions. As a matter of fact, let me tell y'all something. There were some major things that could have distracted me last year in the middle of a build, that there were some major things happening. And a lot of times we don't understand, Mr. Cedric, we got to cut things and people off. And oftentimes it's the people close to you. When I say that I had to cut people off that I loved dearly because it was a distraction. I still loved them. But I didn't allow what was happening to distract me. I made a decision to put a wall up. I'm not doing that. I didn't allow it in my ear gates. I didn't allow it in my eye gates. I didn't allow it. I didn't bow to emotions. So the version of you that wins can't negotiate with distractions, can't bow to emotions, can't stop when it's inconvenient, can't stop when it gets tough, can't stop when you don't feel, you'll figure it out. See, the version of you that wins shows up when you're tired, shows up when nobody's watching, shows up when it's hard. Because you understand, the winner, the successful person understands this is the price. This is the price. See, we good until we got to cut people off. What I decided is I will not start over again. Because momentum is the hardest thing to get, but the easiest thing to lose. What I decided is I will stay. What I decided is I will show up. What I've decided is I am consistent. Me, I'm gonna be the epitome of consistent. Because I want to be what I want to attract. Our future is never decided by what we do occasionally. Our future is decided by what we do consistently. So the real question is, who are you willing to become every single day? What about when consistency cost you? See, it cost us. So I want to reference a scripture in Daniel chapter 6. This isn't a cute story. This is life or death consistency. All right? So Daniel was elevated in leadership. Daniel was favored. Daniel was respected. Daniel was set apart. But what happened is the people around him got jealous. And what happened, Mr. Cedric, is they said, I know, look at Dana, right? What happened is they said, we can't find anything wrong with him unless it has something to do with his God. So there was nothing wrong with Daniel. What happened was, that's right, soon as you start being successful, here they come. Oh, Daniel think he all that. Oh, look at that. Oh, Daniel can do no wrong. Oh, Daniel forgetting about all the rest of us. Oh. Imagine being, but no, Daniel was focused. So imagine Daniel being so consistent. Imagine this. Imagine you being so consistent that the only way someone can trap you is through your discipline. See, there's some people around you that are weeds. And the weeds, what happens, for all of my people that understand planting, is the weeds, they suffocate. So what happens is the weeds come around you trying to suffocate your thoughts, trying to suffocate your actions. So what they do is let me tell you what they do. They invite you around a lot. They invite you around because they don't want you out working your dream. They ask, can they come around you? Because they want to bring that energy around you to keep you down. Because you, like Daniel, a high performer. And then all of a sudden, you'll sit around wondering, what is going on with me? Why are you thinking the thoughts you're thinking? So here comes the attack. Here comes the attack against Daniel. That's right, Kizzy. They convinced the king to sign a decree. You know what they do? What they and them do, Wanda, is they come after you. They come after you. But what they do when they try to come after you, Mr. Cedric, is they try to get other people to gang up against you. So what they did was they convinced the king to sign a decree. No praying to anyone except the king for 30 days. And if you do, you get thrown into the lion's den. So here's what most people would do. Most people do what? They do things like pause their habits. They take a break from discipline. They don't get on the community calls. They pull back. They compromise temporarily. You know what people do. They and them, they and them, they and them. But Daniel didn't adjust. Nope. Daniel didn't adjust. What does the Bible say about what Daniel did? He went home. He opened his windows and prayed 3 times a day, just like he always did. There he is. Daniel said, oh no, I'm standing firm on my book. There you go. So like he always did, he decided not sometimes, not when it was convenient, not when it was even safe, but consistently. He did what he was doing. He stood firm on his belief. That's right. Consistently. Y'all type consistently in the comments. Because remember, consistency is identity. Consistency is proven when it's inconvenient, not when it's easy. So here's the deal. There are consequences to us not deciding. What was the consequence for Daniel? Daniel gets caught. Then Daniel gets thrown into the lion's den. So I want you to think, some of you are caught. And maybe you're not in the lion's den. But you're certainly out there on a little island, probably feel like you're all by yourself because you allowed somebody in them ears. You allowed, that environment is everything. You allowed you told your big dream to a small-minded person, and now they're asking you, why would you be investing your money in that? Why would you be doing that? I remember when I decided I wasn't going to do hair anymore, and everybody thought I was crazy. What do you mean? I mean, you've been doing that for so many years. What do you mean? What about your clients? What about your this? And what about your that? And why would you that? And because there was an end date to that. So this is where most people think this, that being consistent cost him. That is not what happened. That is not what happened. See, inconsistency would have cost him his identity. He got caught, he did. And he got thrown into the lion's den. Had nothing to do with his consistency. Because here's the deal. He got caught, he gets thrown in the lion's den, but then God shut the mouths of the lions. And then Daniel walks out untouched. So look at how many people, Dana, focus only on because he obeyed God, he got thrown into the lion's den. They don't look at, Nicole, what God did in the lion's den. That he walked out untouched. But wait a minute. It gets better than that. Not only did he walk out untouched, he got promoted again. He got promoted again. So he got promoted again. So here's the thing. Daniel didn't try to pray. He was a man of prayer. And I'm not trying to offend nobody. I'm using this as an example. A story is an example, okay? He didn't try to pray. When your identity is so strong, here it goes, y'all. Pressure doesn't change you, it reveals you. So now we look and we see, are you really who you say you are? Because if you really are who you say you are, show us. Show us. Daniel didn't build that habit overnight. That level of consistency was built in private over time, which proves what you do in private, that's what shows up in public. Who are you when you're in private? Shows up in public. What saved him in public was what he practiced in private. Daniel had a system. And if you don't believe he did, read your Bible again. Daniel had a system. Y'all ready for this? Same time. Y'all write same time in the comments. Same time. Same posture. Come on. See, he had a system. We can put pressure on the system. Same discipline. Same time. Same posture. Same discipline. It was already built into his life. So if you're looking at what is going on with you, maybe your business isn't doing what you wanted to do. What are you doing to create this system? Because systems don't fail us. Daniel didn't rise in the lion's den. He was revealed in the lion's den. Your consistency today is preparing you for a moment you can't see yet. And if we only do what's easy, you'll fold when it gets hard. But if you build consistency, you'll stand when others bow down. Oh, this is so good. So good. So when people are often asking me, well, I don't know, Nina, I just don't know how you do it all. I just decided. I decided that there are days, y'all, that I'm on 3 Zooms at one time. I decided that it's important for me to show up. So I want you to understand that some of you are one level of consistency away from your next promotion. The problem is that every time it gets uncomfortable, you pause. Every time there's nothing showing yet, there's no seeds, there's no plants sprouting yet, you quit because you don't see evidence today. So you went consistent for 7 days, but you haven't been consistent for 7 months. And now, because you went consistent for 7 days and you don't see the change that you desire in 7 days, you pause, you quit. Daniel didn't pause, and because he didn't bow, God made everything else bow for him. There are things in your life that you need to bow for you. But they won't bow until you decide, until you work the systems that have been given to you, until you keep putting pressure on the system. You know what I've even learned? This is so good. Ready for this, Dana? Systems don't even require for you to be super skillful or talented, because anybody can follow a system. Let me prove it to you. Do you understand in McDonald's, y'all, they put pictures on the cash register? You know why? They realize that a lot of the people that they hire at McDonald's can't read. So they got pictures, y'all. Okay. They got pictures on the cash register. So all they're doing is pushing a button. They're only pushing a button because the system is so tight. The system is so tight, it doesn't matter that they're not skillful. And I'm not saying that everybody that work at McDonald's are not skilled. I'm saying they hire a lot of unskilled people. Because that doesn't require, you know why? Let me tell you why, Dana. The fries go over here. The milkshake machine, y'all know the milkshake machine is always broken anyway at McDonald's, always broke. But the milkshake machine is over there. And the burgers, they get made right here. And and everything got a place, and everything is a system. So why can people work there and thrive, even if they're not the wisest, the smartest knife in the drawer? Because there's a system. It doesn't require you to know anything if you follow the system. Here's the problem. When the system is given to you, you don't like you don't like it. You don't like the system. So I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. And so because you choose to, I don't like that system. I don't like that. I don't like the way that makes me look or feel. So I'm not going to do that. Then you say that the program didn't work. What is not the program, it's not that the program didn't work. It's that you won't work the system. When the system takes all the guesswork out of what you're doing, it doesn't even require you to be smart. Oh my gosh. So I pray that there is something that you heard today that blessed you. Y'all light this chat up. Maybe it was an ouch-alleluia moment for you. We're smack dab at the top of the hour. Listen, my name is Nina Moore, and I want us to say thank you to Jordan Ferrarini for allowing us to be here today and giving us this platform. Next week, we will be back on Friday. All right? So let's tell everybody that we'll be back next Friday morning at 9 a.m. Not Thursday next week. We'll be back to Friday. I will not be traveling next week. So we'll be back to Friday. We want to say thank you to Mr. Jordan Ferrarini. If the support team would put Jordan's Instagram in the chat for us. Follow me on Instagram. Follow Jordan on Instagram. Y'all grab that link right now. Listen, I want you to enjoy the rest of your day, right? And I want you to really think about the decision that you're going to make today to become consistent, to go all in, to know that your identity is tied into your decision to be consistent, okay? And enjoy it and pay it forward. Be kind to one another. Do a good deed, right? And always remember this. Until next week, that God loves you, we love you, and there's absolutely nothing you can do about it. Goodbye, and God bless you all. Enjoy your weekend. Mindset with